morning, everyone. It's great to be together again. And for all of you who are new on the call today, we're so glad to have you here with us. Today, we're going to talk about passion, purpose, and plan, because there are things that we're passionate about. We were all created with a purpose, and so therefore we need to be intentional and make a plan. And as we make a plan and we start to walk out our plan, life happens and things change, but that's okay. We adjust our plan. So we're talking about passion, purpose, and plan. So just to start out with, could all of our students quickly put in the chat what grade you are currently in? Just go ahead and type in what grade you are currently in. So we have 8th, freshman year of college, 10th, 12th, 10th, 11th. Great. So we've talked about this before. I know Cyril's brought it up and different people have brought it up in terms of practicing for SATs and Khan Academy. This is something that I have a junior, one of my sons is a junior, and he has been doing practice tests and practice training for SATs on Khan Academy. And this is something that I would really encourage for 9, 10, 11, 12, for all of, and even 8th grade, you can get started with this program on Khan Academy, because it's great. Even if you just do a little something a week or a little something every couple of days, it starts to work out your brain to think the way that and prepare you for your SATs and for other big tests. And our brain is a muscle, like we know. And so just like when you're going to train to run a race, you're going to train for a sport, you have to work out your muscles and prepare them. And so there's lots of great things on Khan Academy, which maybe Cyril or someone can put it in the chat, that website, that you can go there and start taking practice things to prepare for tests and exams and things like that. So with that, let's go to the next slide. As we are thinking about what we're passionate about, what our purpose is, and making a plan, the first thing that I want to talk about is this phrase, live to work or work to live. Do you want to live your life to just work, to achieve work, or do you want to work so that you can live your life? And this is an important thing to think about at this stage in your life, because you're starting to put things in progress for your plan, for your adult life plan. And so if you aren't intentional about it, you will find yourself just living your life, and you go to work and you do the day-to-day all the time, and it might not be very satisfying, and it might actually be you're just kind of going through the motions and you're just surviving. But we want to help set you up for success to live your best life. And so when you can shift your thinking to, I work so that I can live my best life, then it changes the perspective on how and what you do. It changes the perspective and your attitude towards the things that you do. But at the end of the day, it's your life and you get to choose. I hear people say all the time, if you love what you do, then you never work a day in your life. And I hear great speakers, encouraging speakers, motivational speakers, I hear them say this all the time. And if you go to the next slide, my thing is, what? Because I don't agree with this at all. I love what I do, but I work really hard. And so when people have this philosophy, if it's work, if it's hard, then it's not what you love. And maybe it's not what you should be doing. And I think that is a false narrative in our society that actually holds people back from really thriving and being successful. So, because I love the things that I do. I love coming on here with all of you and teaching, but it takes a lot of work to take some ideas and to take some lessons and to prepare it and to show up and do it. It's work involved. Doesn't mean I don't love it. It doesn't mean I'm not passionate about it, but it's still hard work. So the question that I was mulling over is, what's so wrong about hard work? And why has our culture and our society put a negative on hard work? Is living your best life just waiting for retirement? There's a lot of people that get what, because their thinking is, I've just got to, I'm working. I live to work right now so that one day I'll retire and then I'll get to do all the fun things that I want to do. But how many tragic stories do we hear of people retire and then they stop working and then their health goes down, and they don't get to do all the things they wanted to do, like travel and have adventure, or maybe they're too old to do those things. So living our best life needs to be in balance with also the working and the providing as we go along. So first thing I want you to be thinking about this week and this month is, what's so wrong about hard work? And the second question is living your best life just waiting for retirement? My answer to that is no, it's not. But that's just something you get to choose. You get to choose how you want your life to be. So here's a question, and I would love to hear some comments in the chat. So get ready. How do you feel when you work really hard on something and it turns out amazing and you accomplish something great? So I'd like to hear some, how do you feel? You've worked really hard on a project at school. You've worked really hard, even like on a gardening project or a project around the house. How do you feel? This is a question. Chime in the chat. How do you feel when you worked really hard on something, but you've accomplished something great? How does it make you feel? Mentors, you can chime in also.
Sonia says good. Melissa is good. Tired but proud. Alisa, proud. Says Dynasty.
Good and accomplished. Yeah. Yeah, there's something in us as humans that when we've accomplished something, it actually builds us up. We might be tired, we might be worn out, we might wake up the next morning feeling like we've been run over by a bus, but there's this sense of accomplishment. There's this sense of, yeah, that was really stretching, but now I know I can do it. There's something amazing, okay, in the fall when all the trees drop their leaves and you look out and there's just a mess in the yard. And then you spend the day raking and all, it's hard work and you get it all cleaned and it's beautiful. And then you sit back and you're like, it looks beautiful. It's accomplished. It's something tangible that you can see, right? There's that sense where even though you worked hard, accomplishment, and it feels good. So how does it feel when you work really hard on a job? Here's the next question. And you end up getting paid really well. When you know you've worked hard and you're rewarded with getting paid well, how does that feel?
Says Melissa.
Bonus. Very pleasant. As you're chiming in, my older two sons, they mow lawns. They started a landscaping company to cut grass. And the other day they did someone's yard and it ended up being way bigger than they expected. It ended up taking them way longer than they expected. But they had a contract with the owner of the house that they were only going to get paid a certain amount of money. But after the owners of the home realized, they saw my two sons out there working very hard and diligent, and it took twice the amount of time, they honored that by paying them double of what they had agreed to. And so that was very honorable of them to do that. But it also taught my sons that it's worth, you put it in, you do your best job, and it gets rewarded, and that it feels good. You feel like, yes, I've done it, it's worth it. It doesn't always turn out that way, but when it does, it is rewarding. And these are things that we want to work towards in our life. Okay, next slide, please. So maybe the thought is that working hard can be rewarding either in purpose, you feel like you've accomplished something, or financially. So when we go back to that initial initial statement, that initial question of live to work or work to live. What if I work really hard and I am able to make a lot of money, even though it's not a job that really defines me, but I'm able to make a good amount of money, that it frees me up to do the things that I love. So maybe working hard can be rewarding, either in purpose or financially. Living your best life, students, mentors, all of us on this call, living your best life will be rewarding, whether it's a sense of accomplishment, whether it ups our finances, whether it builds relationship, whether it strengthens our community, whatever it is. When we as individuals live our best life that fulfills our purpose, it will be rewarding. Next slide, please. So let's talk about passion real quick. Quickly in the thread, let's answer the first question. Name one or two things that you are passionate about. Students or mentors, what are you passionate about? Advocating for others, reaching my goals, serving, travel, becoming a nurse, art and helping others, helping people. These are great. See, in all of these so far that have come up, it's great to be able to combine when you can have a job that helps others and serves others, but then being able to free up finances and free up time to then on your own accord go and serve, like doing things like Proverbs 2:26, or serving in the community, serving in your church, serving even your neighbors, different ways of blessing and helping people that you have the opportunity to do because your job frees you up to do that. Becoming an FBI agent, it's great. We need good FBI agents. Very cool. So thinking through the things that you're passionate about, and it's okay to understand that your passions through life, some of them, maybe hopefully not helping others, but they will change, they will develop, they will become refined. You might have a season where you really love working with kids, and then maybe after you have your own kids, after you might have a season where you don't want to work with kids for a little while. So these things can change as you grow and move through life. Okay, next slide, please. So being mindful of your passion is really important, but then also being mindful of your purpose. This like big question to life. Why was I created? What is my purpose? And this is a lifelong journey. I would say pretty much no one knows their full purpose and full potential this side of heaven, because we're always growing. We're always learning more about ourselves and about the world that we live in. But a question to ask in different times through the year, people think about this in New Year's, over Christmas, people think about it on Easter weekend when they're looking at the big questions to life. Are you fulfilled? Now, this is an interesting question because fulfillment doesn't mean you enjoy it. There are some things, like we talked about, that we worked really hard. It might not have been fun, but it might be fulfilling. And so thinking about that question, am I fulfilled in what I'm doing, is something to be mindful of. All right, back to the chat. How do you feel fulfilled right now in your young adult life or teenage life? How do you feel when you know this is fulfilling? It might not have been fun, it might not have been very enjoyable, but it was fulfilling. How do you feel? Any thoughts?
You see the results come out on the other side.
Okay, grateful. Yeah. I think my internet must be slow today. Yep.
I'm one step closer. I want to see what the FBI agent will say.
When you feel, if you feel fulfilled, how do you know, yep, this was fulfilling?
David.
Now, as you're thinking about that, also think about the last question on this slide. Can anyone else make you feel fulfilled? I'm doing something right. Yep. Friends and family. Depends on the situation. Yep, fair answer. Kids. Okay. All right, let's go to the next slide. So in all of this, things to think about is, what do you love versus what are you good at? And it goes back to that same phrase of live to work or work to live. What do you love and what are you good at? You might love dancing, but people might laugh when you dance. You might love shooting hoops, but I'm only 5'2". So that's not going to work out for a career for me. There are things that we love. They're so much fun, but we're not very good at it. And so thinking about it as a career might not be the way to go. It's a great hobby. It's a great outlet. It's a great fun thing to do. But when we're looking at our future and planning for our future, we actually need to look. People always say, well, what do you love? What are you passionate about? And those are important questions, but they might not be the right questions when you're looking at what you should do for your job and for your career, and therefore what you should be studying in college. If you study in college just the things that you're passionate about and you love, you might end up with a great degree that is not employable. The purpose in going to college is to become employable. And so to think about, what are you actually good at? If you're a math brain, okay, what careers make good money that can help me live my best life in that are good with math or good with science or whatever your strength is. Sometimes our success isn't in the most glamorous jobs, like accounting. Sorry if there's any accountants on the line. It's great. They're great jobs, but they might not be that glamorous. Maybe plumbing. That is not a glamorous job, but it can be a very successful job and you can make really good money. Or like an electrician or a mechanic. There are things like this that don't, like social media doesn't, you're not a star, but you can make good money so that when you're not working, you can live your best life and do the things that you're passionate about. So at the bottom of this screen, it says, being financially secure can free us up to do the things we love and are passionate about and find fulfilling. Next slide, please. We need a plan. We need to be intentional with our life. When we are intentional and we're looking ahead, even though life happens and we might have to change the plan and be flexible, we have direction and we can move towards that. So to be thinking, students, in this season, as the year is starting to wrap up, as you're thinking about college, as you're thinking about career, as you're thinking about your future, I hope you're thinking about your future. Think about, these are the things that I love. This is what I'm really good at. This is what I want my life to look at. This is important. What do you want your life to look like in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years? And then start working towards the plan that sets you on the journey for your life to look like it. Because it's your life and you get to choose, but you have to be intentional about preparing for that. And so right now, as students, you're looking at preparing with your SATs, you're looking at colleges, you're looking at developing strong relationships with your family so that you can be successful moving forward. You're looking at all of these things. Okay, so our last slide to wrap it up. My encouragement to you is to be intentional yet flexible. Think about your passions, what you're passionate about, but think about your purpose, what you want your life to look like. And if you are a person of faith, ask the Lord to direct you and guide you. Why did he create you? Because he created you with a purpose and a plan, and he created you to be great. So think about your purpose and then make a plan so that you can intentionally work forward in that journey to live your best life.